Hello and welcome to Wise Women's Conversation. My name's Angela Council, your host for this podcast, and this podcast is a space for us to be having the conversations that women need as we discover life after 50. Together we're going to explore topics like health, well-being, mindset, purpose, and the wisdom that helps us live the best lives as we age. So come along and join me for today's conversations. Hi, it's Angela here, and I am really excited to bring you another conversation with a fantastic woman in our series of Wise Women Conversations. This week, I'm chatting with Suzi Dafnis, who is the CEO of the Her Business Network. Now, Suzi has been in business for 30 years, and she has been guiding and leading women to create successful businesses. And I've been part of her business network for quite a few years, and I know her quite well. Have been part of a mastermind that she used to run. But over the last few years, I've noticed Suzi's been going through a change, and that's what we're talking about. What do you do when the business that you've loved, the business that you've built and grown to be really, really successful, no longer fills your heart, when it all just starts to feel really, really hard? Now, I recorded this interview a few months ago, and since then, Suzi has been through a bit more of a transition. And Her Business Network is now known as the Growth Network, and I can really see Suzi stepping out in a leadership role and teach women how they can be leaders in their life, in their business. And as I watched back this interview, this conversation, I could see the seeds of it when we were talking then. So obviously, Suzi was going through things at the time that she wasn't in a place to share, but now I've seen where she is now. And this is a fantastic conversation just to see that this is a very successful businesswoman, and she goes through some of these struggles that many of us are going through as well. So let's have a chat with Suzi. I will put all the links to the Growth Network and everything that about Suzi in the show notes, so you can check them out afterwards. But let's just have a chat with Suzi on how life has changed for her, particularly as she went through the physical changes of menopause and how that impacted her business. Suzi Dafnis, thank you so much for joining me. You are one of my heroes, particularly when it comes to running a business. I work with you on a personal level, and what you have done for women in business over the years is absolutely amazing. So I really want to thank you. I know you're really busy, and I appreciate the time that you've taken just to sit down and chat to us a little bit about what your experience was around the menopause transition.
Well, thank you. Firstly, I am honored. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. And I am looking forward to this conversation. This isn't a conversation I have every day, but as you know, I'm a big champion of that work that you do to save women's lives and to help them navigate a part of our life that is really not talked about. And it actually does affect our businesses a lot.
It does.
And so I'm happy to support your listeners and women out there any way that I can. So that's why I'm here.
Let's start with just right at the beginning. What did you notice in your life with your body, the way you were thinking and your energy when it came to the perimenopause, menopause transition? Did you know what was going on, or was this kind of like a what the hell's happening type of thing?
That's a really good question. It kind of started subtly. I noticed my sleep wasn't as deep. I'd wake up feeling just exhausted, like I hadn't rested. And I put it down to being busy. Like a lot of business owners, I'm just busy, busy. This is a stressful season, etc. But it didn't subside. And I started to have these periods of real fogginess. Like I couldn't finish a sentence. I'd lose my train of thought mid-sentence. I'd be in a room going, why am I standing here? And I found it really hard, like to remember Like my calendar was like minute by minute. I had to note down what I was meant to be working on because otherwise I would lose track. So it was like I was having a brain dysfunction. That is how it felt. I didn't connect it to menopause, but looking back, I realize now what it was. So there was a lot happening sort of in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so common. And many women don't realize because there's a lot of changes that are happening to our brain as we come through this time of life. And
Mm,
in
mm.
fact, menopause itself is actually a brain transition more than it is an ovary transition. Yes, we run out of eggs, but it is a really big brain transition, and our brain rewires itself and it changes. And so, yeah, we're standing in the middle of the room going, why did I come in here? And I'm like you, if it's not my diary, it's not going to happen. And I've
Yeah.
learned that because in the past I go, oh, yeah, I remember. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, you're supposed to be on a call at this time. It's
Right.
like,
I did that just this morning, actually. And I'm on the other side of it, but I still did that this morning. I was like, where is my brain? I'm like taking all the memory supplements and then going, no, no, it's not that. It's not my memory. Well, it's something else going on. Mm.
and we do quite often go, oh, well, it's just because I'm so busy. And yes, busyness is playing a role, but also there's the hormonal changes kind of
Right.
on top of that. And did you notice that with these changes, particularly with your memory and what was going on, did you notice that was starting to, influence your business, change the way you showed up?
Yeah.
Did you kind of, and you say, look, this isn't a conversation I have, did you feel like this is something you couldn't say, that I don't know what's going on, because you are the front woman, particularly of a network of,
Yeah.
hundreds of women, and they're seeing you as a leader? How did it feel to kind of think, oh, hang on a minute, I don't feel like I'm running at
Yeah.
100% here?
I really had to lean into support, of mentors, peers, my team, because I'd find myself drifting. Even in my briefing of my team, I'd lose my focus and I'd have to back up and say something again. I thought, well, what is going on? I'm losing my mind. It would take me much longer to power through stuff. I'm really productive. I can get through a lot of work, and I found myself really slowing down. And when your work, like you said, relies on you being sharp and present for your clients, whether I'm speaking on stage or I'm mentoring business owners or I'm making big decisions, the shifts were noticeable. And sometimes I had to give myself a break and just go, okay,
Mm,
you just need to rest, recalibrate, and come back to this, because I hated feeling foggy at things that I wasn't usually foggy at, and things taking so much longer. It was
yeah.
very frustrating.
Do you see that in other women as well? Because obviously, you do head up a network of women business owners. Do you see other women speaking about this? I actually listened to one of your podcasts a couple of weeks ago, and you were speaking to Leanne Faulkner
Right, about
and
mental health.
your mental health.
Mm,
So,
mm.
do you see this
Yeah.
with women?
I hadn't tied it to menopause until we started having the conversation about being here with your audience here today. And I always thought, we're women in midlife, we're probably wanting to go into a new chapter in our business. Maybe our kids are grown up, or maybe we've just done doing what we're doing. And so maybe that fogginess was coming from lack of clarity of what direction do I want to take next. And then, yeah, having conversations with experts in the area of mental health was, okay, was I going through a crisis? Was it a mental health issue? Did I have, and I did have a little, actually, to be honest with you, situational depression. Like there were
Yeah.
things happening in my business that were causing me to feel depressed. And I thought, okay, I don't want to make light of depression when people are really struggling. And I thought, I don't feel I need medication, but I did reach out to a number of people who are depressed to say, I don't know what is going on. I find myself teary. I'm foggy. I don't know what I want. And it could have been a confluence of a number of things, Angela,
Mm.
but I sort of identified that as situational depression, change a few things about my business and life, and I'll get out of that. But I think that's sitting on top of going through menopause or being in that perimenopausal state. It was just a confluence of things that just ended up this
Yeah. And
horrible
it is
way of
it
being.
is so common, and this is why I want to be having this conversation,
Mm,
because I want women to know that yes, your hormones are playing a role with
yeah,
this. You're not going crazy. Number one, you're
yeah,
not crazy.
yeah, yeah.
And for many of us, we are juggling so many different things, running
Mm,
businesses, looking after parents, raising children,
right.
leading teams. We're juggling so much. And if we look at where, our mothers, our grandmothers were, they're not doing anywhere near as much as what we're doing now.
No.
We are kind of like the first generation of women to really, who are coming through this time of life, who've kind of, in a way, had it all. They've had
Yes.
the opportunities, but now all of a sudden it's like, well, what do I really want? And
Yes.
what's really going on? Because I know you've had quite a few shifts as well around, well, what do I want to do? It's like, and how am I going to bring my business along with it? And we've
Right.
had conversations, and
Mm,
it's like, what do I really want to do? Do I want to keep doing this and doing
right.
what everybody else says we have to do to grow a business? Or is there a different way of doing it? Do you think,
Yeah.
is there a different way of doing it? Hopefully there is.
Take notes. Get ready, everybody. Take notes. So there's a couple of things because when we're in that age, and I know it happens slightly different ages for different people, there's a couple of things going on. One is our body is changing, as you've let us know, and our brain is changing, but also life circumstances. If you're a mother, maybe your kids are now leaving home, you're going to be an empty nester. If you've been in business since your 20s, like I have been, you're at that point, it's like, how much longer am I going to do this? How much do I want to do this? So there's a number of things that are coming together. And then if your body's not cooperating and you're not feeling like yourself, it can be a really, really difficult time. And you asked me earlier, do I see this in women? The conversations I've been having more and more with women is like, I'm done. I need to do something different, but I don't know who I am without this business. I don't know how to make this shift. And there were days where I thought, this isn't me. I'm usually motivated, I'm upbeat, but I feel flat. I feel overwhelmed. I can't seem to handle what I used to. I don't have the capacity. That was a word I would say a lot. It's like, where is my capacity gone? And I thought, maybe I just need a break. But there were a couple of things going on. First, my body and mind were on different settings, different channels, and I'm pretty fit. And I thought, gosh, I shouldn't be experiencing any of this because, I'm fit and healthy and I didn't. But when the symptoms started to come in, and fogginess was one, and I did get the sweats a little bit, mostly at night, but not like I saw some of my friends experiencing. And I thought, okay, I don't want to take hormones. I want to handle things naturally. I know that's not for everyone. People have different opinions. And so I took supplements and tinctures and things that a naturopath recommended. I try to stay as healthy as possible. But to your point, when your body is changing, your life circumstances are changing. Maybe you're in a relationship that you're done with, because now you got married in your early 20s, your 30s, you're now in your, 20 years later, and you've had a business and you're like, okay. And I was talking to someone on the weekend and she's 47, I think. And she's right in this pocket. And she said, I don't want to keep doing this. I just don't want to keep doing this, but I feel like I have to keep doing this. And like her body's changing and it all sort of stacks on top of each other.
Mm,
Nothing is pleasing her. And she said, I'm not who I was. And yeah, I feel trapped. And so
yeah.
we could have this conversation all day long, Angela, because I'm talking to more and more women who come to me. One woman said to me, I've got a multi-million dollar business. I've got $1 million worth of product in my warehouse, and I find myself under my desk crying.
Yeah.
She said, because I don't know how to get out of this. And now, is it menopause for her? I think she's probably early 50s. She might be on the other side of that, but she has just been through this stage. And so I don't know. You tell me where you want this conversation to go, but I think that it's the stacking of circumstance upon
Yeah.
circumstance that can
And
have us feel like we just want to give up, like I don't want to be here anymore, right? And
and
I've had
it,
people have that conversation with me.
it's becoming, it's becoming more and more common. And I think part of it is, as I said, we are really the first, we don't have role models for how to
Right.
do this
Yeah.
because we're the kind of first generation that have come through this. And yes, there have been some women who, there are some exceptions to women who've been in business as they've aged, but there's not many role models on how to
No.
do this.
Yeah, so how do we
And
do it with vibrancy, with
yeah,
feeling alive, with feeling creative? I think it's taking care of our bodies in the way that you show women how to do. And then, and this is more the work that I do, is that you take care of our minds. What am I curious about? What do I want to learn about? Who am I surrounding myself with? What do I give myself permission? Do I give myself permission to stop and pause and take a break and rethink my business? Or do I not have give myself the support or the investment in myself? I know you're a big hiker, and I'm sure your listeners know that as well. You invest in yourself because that's what makes you happy. And I find that for a lot of women, we don't necessarily give ourselves what makes us happy.
So, what have you done? What have you done to re engineer your life and your business
Mm.
to get you more on track for what it is you want to be doing and who
Yeah,
you
that's a
want to be?
really great question. And I'm in one of those periods of transition again right now for the last 18 months. So 17 years ago, to give you an idea, was running three businesses simultaneously. I had a team of 45 people across three countries, and I was burning the candle at both ends, as the saying goes. And there came a day I was sitting there at my desk talking to my marketing assistant, and I fainted. And I was on the floor. I came to PJ, my partner, heard me drop to the floor. He came running up the stairs, and I woke up and I was just being sick. And it was like my body was saying, stop, do something different. We sold one business, we closed one down. We moved back from America to Australia, and we closed two businesses and we sold one. And I changed my business model and what I was doing. Now, that was 17 years ago. And then 18 months ago, I started to feel this feeling coming. Oh, I feel it coming again. I'm feeling burnt out. I'm feeling a dread around doing what I do. And I made a couple of differences. And speaking specifically to the women business owners, I started to say, what is it that I want to do with this precious life? How do I want to spend my time? How do I want to work? Now, I'm a hard worker, just I am. I've always worked really hard and I work hours that I don't need to work. I absolutely love what I do, but I've changed some things. I changed my business model. I've changed who my ideal client is. It's like I want to work with who I want to work with, and that's who I want to work with. I'm not there to give all the people all the things. So giving myself permission to slow down or adjust my schedule where needed without feeling guilty, being more intentional about my health. We were just talking before we started recording about how I'm training for a marathon. Last year, I did an endurance hike. And I know those things aren't for everyone, but it's caused me to pay attention to movement, to nutrition, to sleep, get coaching, get support, get better at something, put my focus on something other than my work. I'm leaning more on my team. I'm delegating things that I used to keep on my plate. And on the mindset side, I've shifted from pushing, trying to power through everything. If you can hear, that's me hitting my fist into my palm, trying to push through everything, Angela, and actually honoring myself for where my energy is at and what I
Yeah.
want to do. Like you, I'm driven. I've always been driven. I've worked since a young age. And so for me, it's still I'm still a work in progress. How do I do this without working myself into the ground? What does my body need? What does my mind need? What does my spirit need? And I know what it does need. It needs movement. It needs beautiful places. It needs time to pause and reflect and think and make decisions from a clear place, not from a place where I'm super busy. And as I said, I don't know if it's just, our vibe attracts our tribe, but I'm finding more and more women just reaching out to me and saying, Susie, you've been doing this for 30 years. How do you stay still inspired by what you're doing? And I stay inspired because I'm willing for the old me to die. And that means the products I sell, the people I serve, the way I do business, like my business model. I'm talking very business because I'm a business owner and, it's very much a part of my focus. But like, how do I travel more? Like PJ and I want to travel more. So it takes courage though. It's easier to stay in the pocket of what we're doing, what we know, what we
Absolutely.
feel
And
comfortable with.
because we don't know any other way. And
We don't know any other
sometimes
way.
it's like, well, if I take a pause, what's going to happen? Can
Right.
I get going again? You
Yeah.
know, is all of a sudden everyone's just going to forget me? Because these days in the world of social
Yeah.
media,
Yeah.
you're off social media for 2 minutes and you've just been replaced. It's like, so there's a lot of fear around that because we've been taught
Yeah.
that we have to keep working hard to get success. That's been our
Yeah.
model. That's what
Yeah.
we went to school. They went to school, you study to get a good mark in exams, and then everyone keeps
Yeah.
telling you you've got to keep doing that to get successful. There's like,
Yeah.
what if I stop?
And
What
when we've
happens if I
been
stop?
successful, as you have been, as I have been, it's like, can I replicate that? Like, if I stop, if I lose all momentum, can I ever reclaim that? And I remember saying to a mentor of mine, again, just in the last 18 months, I feel like my best days are behind me. And she metaphorically slapped me around a little bit and said, why? You are smarter, you have more experience, you now have energy now that your body's on the other side of menopause. You have energy, you have so much creativity to give, and it was a really good message. It's like, and so it's like, get the support you need, get the support early, give yourself permission to do things differently if you need to. And you'll find, I trust, Angela, that we will find the new rhythms for what
Mm.
serves us better. But I don't deny how scary it is to just say, I realize that I cannot get into the next chapter while I stay in this chapter. It's like reading a book. You can't read the next chapter until you finish this one and say, that's it, I'm done with this chapter, I'm moving on. And, the other thing is that you're not alone. And this is what you make possible for women, letting them know they are not alone. They're not imagining it, like their brain isn't breaking, that the changes are real and that they can keep being the incredible beings that they are. They just need to pay attention to what's happening and know that there's a solution working for them. And that's what you do.
It is having the trust to know what comes next. And you know those word games where you have all the different letters and you pick the words out.
Yes.
This was on Facebook. I
Yeah.
saw this yesterday, and like it said, choose. What are the first three words that come up for
Right.
you?
Yeah.
And my first three words, and so apt for where I am right now: slow down,
So good.
believe, and surrender.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
Perfect.
like, that's exactly what I need right now. And it is, it's
Yeah.
like
I'm going to write that down.
we slow down,
Yeah.
we believe that whatever's going to happen and what's meant for me is going to come for me, and
Mm.
surrender. Because being in the chaos, whether or not that's the
Yeah.
chaos of the physical symptoms, the mental, the angst, all of that, being in the chaos
Yes.
can be really hard. But if you just surrender to it, you can come out the other side.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is a really strong message. And
Yeah.
that's what you're saying, is like, just allow it to be and know that even though it might feel messy right now, there
Yes.
is, if it's meant for you, it's going to happen. And there's
Yeah.
so much on the other side. We're
So
not,
much.
when
And that word surrender, I think, is a little scary because it's like,
it
am I
is.
giving up? And I know I've asked myself, am I giving up on life? Am I giving up on business if I stop, whatever it is, offering this product or service, whatever it is? Surrender, but thinking that surrender is actually, oh, what a relief. Your body goes, oh, I
Yeah.
can breathe, I can re-choose. And we're not clutching the steering wheel going, okay, this is the way we're going. We're actually going, okay, I trust
Because we
that my
can't
body will
think
know.
when
Yeah,
we're in that place,
yeah,
there's a saying is like, we just can't think. We know physically that we can't think properly
yeah,
when we're in this stressed situation.
yeah,
So we
yeah,
need to bring down the stress. We
yeah,
need to pause and just allow things to be, to let the creativity come in.
yeah. You're exactly right.
So if another woman, someone in her business network basically called out to you and said, "Hey, Suzi, I'm just not feeling it right now. I don't love, I mean, and you said there's already women who are calling out. She's like, I don't know what if I want to be in here. What do you want
Yeah.
her to know from what you've learned?"
Yeah, from what I've learned, and this is sort of it's so in my orb right now, it is knowing that you're not alone, you're not imagining it, that the changes are real. It doesn't mean you can't keep going forward. If it comes to their body changes, if that's what they're experiencing, I'd say talk to Angela. But learn about what your body wants. Get support early. Give yourself permission to do things differently. But if we're talking about like generally the conversations I'm having, my recommendation is pause. The first thing to do is pause and give yourself space. And it's exactly why, and I know that that we take women out of their day-to-day environment and we take them to beautiful parts of the world and we give them the time and space to create a new vision for themselves. And so invest that time and space. Now, it could be coming on a retreat that Angela's running. It could be coming to a retreat that her business is running. It could be just taking yourself away from your family, from your commitments, from your clients, from all of that for enough time to be able to hear yourself think clearly. Maybe it's giving yourself time every morning to journal on what's going on in your head. Maybe it's finding a new network of people who are also experiencing these big transitions. And so for me, it's like number one is you're not alone. You do not have to suffer through this alone. There is support out there for you, and you're not going crazy.
Well, if you are with everybody else, and we're all crazy.
That's right. That's right. We're all going crazy.
I really want to thank you, Suzi, for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your time, because I know how busy you are. And I will share all the details for her business and everything in the show notes. So if anyone is interested in joining her business, highly recommend it. I've been a member for quite a few years. It's a great community for women who are in business, who want to grow their businesses. But I just really want to thank you for being you and being a role model and showing women what is possible. You know, it's like we do go through physical changes, but that can reflect on our businesses. And you've been through changes, and I've seen the changes that you've been through over the last few years. But I can see you're really stepping into who you truly want to be. And I can see that. I've been able to see that. And I know that there's been times when things have been a little bit crazy, but I can really see that you are stepping right into your strength now, way beyond what you've had in the past, you know, being a business leader. But I can really see that you're stepping into that strength right now.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I've loved this conversation. I love you. I love being able to support women, as I think we have a common mission around helping as many women as we can. And I want to thank you for your time, you know, because you've given me your time, and you're the gift of, you know, allowing me to speak with you and to the women who are listening. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks to all of our listeners. Bye for now.